'cause I'm a weatherman. Oh, my thunderstrike, right out the storm, I'm a weatherman. Oh, my bragging light, shake up the world, I'm the weatherman.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Fast Forecast coming to you live tonight aboard the luxurious Origin 890. Now, as you know, it's been a while since we've been aboard an 890, especially doing one of these interviews. But as always, we'd love to do our Meet the Org series aboard one of these luxurious ships. And, well, we'll go ahead and get started. Uh, if you could introduce yourself and your org, as well as tell us the name of your beautiful ship.
Um, my name is Marcus Zoran Tilgreen. The name of the org is Guardian Rescue Corps. And this beautiful baby here is the Andromeda.
You named a 890 the Andromeda.
It was a pick out of the hat between me and a sub officer. He won the coin toss.
Oh, okay. Um, well, so despite the name of the org, tell us a little bit about the main focus.
The main focus for us has, and especially for me personally, has always just been to provide an elite combat rescue corps that provides access and revives clients at any cost, at any location, anywhere, no charge, period.
Wait,
We go by the
you, hold on. You provide rescue anywhere with no cost?
correct. We do not charge for our services. In fact, many times if we are provided fees, we will refund them with interest.
That's that is we're kind of speechless. We're sitting here aboard an 890 and across from a medic who says not only will we come across the galaxy to heal you, but we'll do it for free aboard our 890. That's a level of luxury that we've never actually come across, even with pirates.
Now, I have a motto I've had since the org first started, which is when all else fails, we don't.
That's okay. Again, we're kind of speechless, which doesn't happen often. How did this organization form?
For that, we kind of got to go back a bit. I, like many, I joined the UEE Navy pretty much as soon as I could at the age of 17. I'd spent my youth with my mother at Orson General training and medical emergency procedures and working with her there. So I had gotten up to good medical skills there. My father, who's head of security in Crusader Industries, was also working with me when he could to give me some combat training as much as possible. But nothing prepared me for what we experienced on the front lines in the Bandul War. Um, 7 years of that, and especially this one incident uh, that I'm never going to forget. It was in the Vega system. We were on an Apollo medevac, and we were going to make a pickup of 9 wounded soldiers from the front lines, or near the front lines. And while we were clearing the AO, I had about 3 people clearing the AO. Me and another guy were working on triaging the patients and getting them squared away on the Shepard Medilift drones. But the drones were giving us problems and starting to malfunction, which we'd had issues with before. Those drones are tending to not be very reliable. And eventually, excuse me, they got to the point where we couldn't use them at all. And while we were trying to work out the problem of how we were going to get people suddenly back to the ship radioed us to let us know they had received an emergency distress call that they had to leave and abandon us to go answer. And so we were left there by ourselves with nothing. We eventually had to makeshift some gurneys and borrow a couple of Ursas to try and get everyone wounded and not back to the FOB. And there we were able to find a Valkyrie pilot who was willing to pick up the wounded and move them off base to where they can get proper care. Unfortunately, between the Ursa ride and the Valkyrie trip, 4 out of the 9 died, and many of the others didn't fare too well either. And it turned out later that this great emergency that called away our Apollo was nothing more than a senator's daughter who had broken her leg. So, over the years, between bureaucracy, malfunctioning equipment, lack of resources and funding, I became very disillusioned with the whole system and decided to do something about it. So I got a honorable discharge in 2949 and set to create something new. And I used my mother's contacts at Orison General and my father's contacts at Crusader Industries to create the Guardian Rescue Corps.
That's, well, most people who know us know that we served in the UE Marines infantry. So,
Sympathy.
Doc, we appreciate what you did in the front lines. We faced down the Van Duel ourselves, so we appreciate it.
Some
Which
serious brutally stuff there.
yeah, they don't like guns too much. They prefer the hand to hand stuff. Which, if you're foolish enough to let them get that close, well, our
Yeah.
armor is definitely not built for their claws.
Thing was, most of the wounded soldiers that I wound up treating in my 7 years were more from friendly fire, accidents, malfunctions than anything the Van Duel did. Most of the people who ran up against the Van Duel didn't survive to be treated.
Yeah, you gotta love new recruits. They stopped training us with sim rounds a long time ago, and you know what they say: if experience is the best trainer. And
Yeah.
the those who survive first couple of contacts with the Van Duel get really good after a while.
They
But
tend to.
that's because of people like you.
We're just one part of a larger machine.
Well,
But
Doc, um, this is usually we deal with pirates and PMCs, and you're kind of a new one. So, are you recruiting? Are you looking for medics to join your ranks, or are you looking to
we
expand?
we are definitely recruiting. Um, we had we spent the first 3 years from 2950 to 2953 just staying small and quick, easy to move, easy to deploy, elite squad. But we've started to see more needs come across that we were unable to fulfill because we just didn't have the manpower and the resources to take care of it, and that's really started to weigh on me heavily enough to expand the org. I had never initially envisioned this thing growing all that large, but I'm starting to see that if I'm going to truly fulfill the mission that I set up for myself, I'm going to have to go where the needs send me. Um, my my number one hero growing up was August Dunlow, and his his benefactorial tends are what I picked up on and what I am trying to duplicate as much as within my means to the verse at large. I'll never be able to accomplish a tenth of what he could, but I'll make as big a dent as I can.
Well, how would somebody go about signing up?
We do have the official org page up on RSI, and we also have the org Discord server. Both are under GR Corps, GRCORPS.
Okay. What are you looking for in a recruit?
Uh, Someone who's passionate about saving lives, uh, who's flexible, who either already possesses elite combat training or is willing to learn. We do have other logistical roles that we can fill, but there's not many of those. So the biggest need is the combat medic roles. Um, Pilots, good pilots, because we do all combat drops almost entirely. But we need people who are active and who are really wanting to be engaged and help us really fulfill our mission. I'm more looking for people who are uh, passionate about the mission than having just raw sheer numbers.
Uh, you mentioned training. Do you offer training in these specializations such as medical and piloting and combat drops,
Absolutely,
or do they need to come?
absolutely. No, they can come as is. Just with the desire is the minimum requirement for entry. We will provide the rest. We'll provide the equipment. We'll provide the training. We're very new person friendly. Um, we have special sections just for that, and we have plenty of special sections that provide all the resources at your disposal. So we'll take care of you as best we can.
Okay. Well, so you don't make money on the medical. Uh, does someone need to be self-funded? How would somebody go about making a living doing this?
Well, the org itself is supported by me and other private benefactors. Again, it goes back to my ties with Crusader Industries and my father who works there. My mother kicks in where she can at Orson General. She's a chief surgeon there. Um, but I've also made a lot of friends out in the verse who have gone on to have careers and done well for themselves, and they kick and contribute when they can. Plus, we do mining and salvaging operations every once in a while to pad the coffers when needed.
Okay.
But
So
we're
does
more of a benefactor organization, so we give away more than we could possibly take in.
well, and that's the question. So would somebody need to come in self-funded, or would they be able to basically
No,
earn a living
no,
doing this?
they could, because we will provide whatever they need.
Okay. What are your future goals for the organization?
Hmm, good question. Um, my goal still remains the same now as it was 3 years ago, just to provide elite medical care with no bureaucracy, no strings, no prerequisites, no uh, tags at the end, no strings attached, and no fee to anyone, anywhere, at any time. We've helped everyone from people in tight binds with mercenaries to UE advocates who are downed in the course of their duties to Navy pilots who got cut in a scuff. Some Marines even will sometimes outsource for the UE Navy itself. I still have some contacts there who ring me up from time to time. So just to keep doing what we've been doing best and try and add more people to help us do that better and more frequently.
Okay. So every organization, no matter if they're pirates or medics, have detractors and supporters. If you could talk to your supporters, what would you say to them?
Please join. We could use the help to do the work that we have assigned for us to do to help as many people as we can. So I'd like to get as many people to help us join do that as possible. And if you can't help directly, again, we survive off benefactor funds. So sending funds is also possible if you have more than enough to spare.
Okay. And if you could speak to your detractors, what would you say to them?
Tractors, as in
People
the
who say that this is all a front. You fly this big ship, and you just are a pretty boy who's living on mommy daddy's boat, trying to assuage your guilt.
Quick aside, this isn't Mommy and Daddy's boat. And second, I'll wait until you're shot and bleeding out and answer that question for you.
Well said, well said. Well, I'll give you another chance to plug your org as well as where we can find you, real quick.
The RSI org page and Discord at GR Corps, GRC or RPS.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we highly advise you go over there. Even if you don't join, drop some AUEC their way. They're doing good work. And if you see this big boat drop in, know they're there to help no matter what. As always, your Fast Forecast is here and all over Stanton, bringing you the latest in traffic, weather, news, and from all of us here at Fast Forecast, we wish you a good night.
Oh, yeah, 'cause I'm a weatherman.